What is up, guys? It is Brie K of TheseAreTheSounds.com, and I'm just gonna give you an update on the Avid situation. But first, this is the intro. So just a quick recap, I made a video in March detailing my experience with Avid that happened in January about a terrible experience I had with their customer service. For whatever reason, a couple weeks ago, this video ended up picking up and it got thousands of views and over 100 comments, and I got a bunch of subscribers, and thank you guys so much for subscribing to my channel. Most of the comments were about negative experiences with Avid, were telling me to jump ship and buy another DAW, start using other DAWs. You guys named Reaper, Studio One, Cubase, Nuendo, FL Studio. You guys literally named all of them, some that I didn't even know existed. Some of you even took the time to break down the pricing structure of each of those different DAWs. Although I was heavily considering switching away from Pro Tools, I honestly don't want to, and I have my own personal reasons for that. I know some of you are gonna yell at me and be like, make the switch, you're keeping them in business. But let me tell you what happened. So some of your comments were also extremely negative, like, you're never gonna be able to talk to Avid, it doesn't matter what you say, they're never gonna change, and things like that. And I totally understand that attitude, because I definitely had that attitude like a couple months ago. Because of all of the comments that you guys left on the video, I actually put it on Twitter and I tagged Avid, Avid Pro Tools, and Avid Customer Care. I think those are the 3 Twitter handles that I tagged. And I said, you guys might want to have a look at the comments, and I left that emoji. Somebody from Avid ended up viewing the video and actually ended up sending it to the customer care team and said that they were gonna have them look at it. I didn't really know whether or not to believe them, because they could just say anything. You know, they said that this experience was really unacceptable and it shouldn't have happened and things like that. They apologized for it. But I was just thinking like, okay, but what is Avid actually doing to improve the situation, right? So I tweeted back and I asked them that, what is Avid actually doing to improve? Are they doing anything? I would love to speak with somebody from the company about this. And they replied, giving me some contact information, told me to DM them for contact information. And I did, and I didn't hear back from them that way. But I did end up getting an email from 2 workers from the customer care department. One was a manager, one is a principal expert, and I got to have a conversation with them. The night before I talked to them, I typed up all these points. I went through all of your comments and kind of tried to compile a list of things that I wanted to bring to their attention that I wanted Avid to change. But when I actually got to have the conversation with them, I realized that they weren't exactly the people to address it to, and I didn't feel like it was fair just unloading all of it on those 2 people if they're not the ones that can change it. But they did tell me that I could send them any complaints at any time. They gave me direct access to them, and they would actually take my complaints and send them to the right people that can do something about it, because neither of them were executives. But what I learned from this call was that Avid actually has employees at different levels of the company. You know, I don't know about the executives because I haven't talked to any of them, but they actually have employees that do care about what the customer has to say. Whether or not this is going to greatly change anything about Avid in the future, I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it plays out, but I will tell you guys how the conversation went. So the 2 people that I talked to when I got on, they were super nice and extremely receptive to criticism, and they even thanked me for making the video, because they were basically saying they don't necessarily know every single thing that's going on in the company until we tell them. And when something like that, you know, picks up, they actually said that it hurts them and that they hate to see that kind of thing, and that they're really sorry that it happened. I asked them what changes have been made to customer care. I also asked them if customer care was through a third party or something like that. Like, why was it so bad, basically, is what I asked them. First of all, I'm sorry that I have this in. When people are out in public with their AirPods in, it's like they're trying to be cool. Sorry. I don't know why I still had it in. I asked them what changes had they made to make Avid's customer care better, and they actually said that the team that I had dealt with was actually in Asia, and they were saying that before this incident, actually before April 1st, they did not deal with this team. As of April 1st, they directly supervise them so that they can know what's going on with customers and things like that. So that is a good improvement to me. I'm like, okay, they actually heard us, and they actually made a change. That's pretty cool, I think. No, that doesn't address everything, but hold on, if you're already typing your comment, like, that doesn't address everything. I know, we're gonna get there, okay? I told them that I felt like Avid doesn't care about the customer like me, which is just by myself making music from a home studio. The two of them said that they do definitely care about customers like me. And one of them actually said that they get a call every day from different people saying, do you know who I am? And they're upset and they're like, I'm a big deal and blah, 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 right, whatever. And that Avid worker said, I think that every customer is a big deal, so it doesn't really matter who it is. We think that everybody's a big deal. And I just told them that it didn't feel that way. And I actually asked them directly, is Avid only concerned with customers that are bigger budget? Because they're like, we're gonna make the money over here, and they're not concerned with the little guy. And if that's the case, if we're not their target demographic anymore, then let us know so we can move on. I told them that just like that, very directly. And they immediately were like, no, that is not the case. They were like, Avid is actually trying to pivot in a way. They didn't use the word pivot, but that was kind of the sentiment of what they were saying, was that Avid is actually trying to now more care about the smaller customer. They were saying that's why they introduced the different tiers with Pro Tools. I think it's like Pro Tools Artist, Pro Tools Standard, and Pro Tools Ultimate, or something like that. Or Ultimate is called something else. I forgot what it's called. One is $9.99, one is $30.99, and one is $99.99 a month. And I wanted to bring up the complaint about the perpetual licenses, but I know that that's not their responsibility and that's not their field. That's not the department that they work in. So I told them that I had other complaints for them, and they told me to go ahead and send those complaints to them, and they would send them to the different people that need to hear it. Let's talk about this perpetual license situation, because it is a big thing to me, and it did seem like a recurring theme in all of the comments that you guys left on the last video. So the thing is, like, I understand, I have a small business. I understand you have to make money, right? Like, companies have to make money. I get that. And I get that, like, subscription-based services are kind of the standard. The thing is, like, that I've kind of been going back and forth with is a DAW a service or is it a product? This is where I see this going. I think that if Avid doesn't start offering perpetual license that actually lasts more than 2 years, if you saw my last video, then you know what I'm talking about. If Avid doesn't start offering perpetual licenses and doesn't make them compatible with the different operating systems that come out for, like, I don't know, at least the next 7 years or something, I think they're gonna lose a lot of their customer base. And I think that they already have. And that's where it's gonna shoot them in the foot, because in trying to make money, I think that they're going to lose money, and I don't think that they're seeing it that way. But that's the way that I'm seeing it because of the over 100 people in my comment section saying that they left Pro Tools because of this perpetual license situation and because of the customer service being so poor. The customer service aspect, I think they can improve, and I think that they've already started making steps to improve, and I'm very happy about that. As far as the perpetual license situation goes, I'm gonna do my best to try and make as much noise as I can to Avid when it comes to the perpetual license, because that's how I see this going. I think that it's going to actually benefit them in the long run, and I don't think that they're seeing it that way. Then again, what do I know? I'm just a random girl on the internet making music in a room, so I could be wrong about that. I don't know. That's pretty much the update for now. Again, I am going to be reaching out and having open communication with those two different associates from Avid that I talked to. If there's anything that you guys also want me to relay to them, let me know in the comments and give like good points. Oh, and also I wanted to mention the reasons why I don't want to switch from Pro Tools, because I know you guys are gonna yell at me and tell me to switch anyway, but this is why I don't want to. And I will if Avid doesn't improve. I will end up switching, but this is why I do not want to. I started producing as a kid, as I'm sure most of you did. And I actually started producing on this keyboard right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it is a Korg Triton Extreme Music workstation. And I was making my beats on there for a couple years before my dad actually got me Pro Tools software. When I say Pro Tools is all I know, it's all I know. I know that most of you in the comments are like, other DAWs are just as good, if not better. I have my workflow here. I have all my customizations in Pro Tools. And all of my life's work in music production is in Pro Tools. If I switch from Pro Tools, I can't open those sessions in anything but Pro Tools anymore. And that, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest with you. I don't. Obviously, I'm going to have to if Avid doesn't kind of get its act together. And this is also why I feel like being able to own a perpetual license is so important. If Avid ever goes under, I'm just gonna lose access to all of my life's work. I mean, I hope that none of those things ever happen, but it's just the fact that that is actually a possibility. I'm just saying that that is why I think it's very important to offer a perpetual license, one, and two, why I don't want to leave Avid. All my work is there. Like that's a big deal, right? Like I know some of you are gonna be like, so what? You could just switch to something else, but that's a big deal to me. So that's why I don't want to leave Avid. So anyway, that's the reason. But I wanted to read you guys this YouTube comment that somebody left that just kind of gave a different perspective and a different take on things. And yeah, I can argue back and forth with it, and I probably will. But I just wanted to leave you guys with this comment, and it is really long, so brace yourself. This is from John Connolly, and he says, "Hello, I feel your pain to some degree. First of all, as a former Avid employee, I have a love-hate relationship as great as anyone, trust me on that. Avid support, yes, useless, I agree. Wasn't like that years ago, but ever since they outsourced support offshore, yes, it's been useless. It's beyond sad, almost criminal. I also agree that subscriptions can be less than ideal. With that said, it's the way of the world. Avid is not alone here. As a company, Avid needs to, as best as possible, secure a steady revenue stream to continue to maintain and grow Pro Tools products. That includes keeping up with Mac and Windows upgrades, which is a never-ending challenge. Since Avid is a public company, some of this is forced in an effort to keep stock prices up and shareholders happy, so there's that. Just something else to consider. Which again, I understand, but like I said, I think that if they don't keep their customer happy, they're gonna end up losing more money, if that makes sense. Now, Avid definitely can do this in a much easier to understand and end user-friendly manner, but this is where Avid consistently drops the ball. I haven't read all of the replies here, and perhaps this has been explained already, but in case it hasn't, some clarity on perpetual licenses. They will work indefinitely as perpetual suggests. However, they do come with an annual support plan that can expire. Yes, it is confusing in a typical Avid way. If you have a current annual support plan, you can download any version of Pro Tools that is released within that year. If you don't renew your annual support plan, you are limited to using the latest Pro Tools version that was available within your annual support plan. This is fine as long as you don't upgrade your computer at all. Right. Right. If you upgrade your computer OS, then it's highly likely that you will need to upgrade Pro Tools software and/or plugins too. This is not Avid's fault. This is called the technology treadmill. Once you step on, you have to keep walking or running, or you'll fall off the back end. This applies to cell phones, computers, TVs, etc. Pro Tools is not alone here. Back to your perpetual license and annual support plan. If you had renewed your annual support plan every year, yes, that's basically a subscription, right? Then your perpetual license would continue to work with the newest versions of Pro Tools. If you don't renew the annual support plan, you're stuck at that particular version, I think is what he meant. This is where Avid is sneaky and not cool. They don't allow you to renew the annual support plan and keep your perpetual license if it has expired. They force you into a subscription. Completely agree, not cool. To top all this off, Avid does not make this clear anywhere. It's very confusing. Shame on Avid. So why stick with Pro Tools software when Avid as a company is such a pain in the A? There are several reasons, only a couple mentioned here. It's the best, or maybe it sucks the least, you decide. Yes, there are many other apps out there. Some of them are quite good. I'm not going to badmouth any of them. However, there's a reason that Pro Tools is as predominant as it is. It does many things really, really good. Editing audio, mixing, automation, plugins, huge user base, network, etc. As a Pro Tools instructor and support engineer, I can tell you that most Pro Tools users are only using a fraction of its functionality and are often surprised when they see features they weren't aware of. This happens all the time. Also, like it or not, Pro Tools is the main application in most studios worldwide. I know some of you will list studios that are not Pro Tools. Yes, they exist, but they are the minority. So from a compatibility standpoint, working in Pro Tools makes you immediately compatible with hundreds of thousands of studios and perhaps more importantly, millions of other Pro Tools users. So the Pro Tools network can be a huge thing if you want to work with others. TV and film production. Pro Tools hands down is the system of choice here, by a long shot for several reasons. I'm in Los Angeles and I can tell you firsthand that all of the major TV and film studios use Pro Tools, period. And as a result, there are a good number of jobs for people with Pro Tools skills as editors, mixers, assistants, support engineers, etc. I don't know any other audio app that can claim that. This may not apply to many of you not interested in this industry, but it is a huge thing to consider when talking about Pro Tools viability. Comparing some of these other systems to Pro Tools when talking about TV and film mixing is a non-starter. Pro Tools systems can scale up to epic proportions. I hate to use that term, but there you have it. To accommodate massive sessions of hundreds of audio tracks, multiple CPUs, multi-operator control surfaces, in an industrial strength capacity that I have not seen other apps handle. Perhaps they can, but I've not seen it here in Los Angeles. And finally, I could go on, but I won't, so here's a shameless plug. I'm a Pro Tools instructor and Pro Tools support engineer, not to mention a former 20-year Avid employee. I'm available for Pro Tools training and support. If you're running into issues, reach out. I completely agree that Avid support sucks and that's a bad thing for Avid customers. However, it's a great thing for me because it keeps me quite busy doing Pro Tools support, installations, upgrades, training, etc. You can check out my YouTube channel, Pro Tools Services, or my website for more info, protoolservices.com. I'm happy to continue this conversation if anyone cares to. Thanks, John. Thank you, John, for leaving that comment with that perspective. I know a lot of people are going to argue other softwares are just as good. I wouldn't really know because I don't use them. A lot of you corrected me and said that my producer friends are actually adding compression on or exporting with certain settings on and stuff like that. Could be the case, I wouldn't know. But that is pretty much it for this video. So again, I don't want to leave Pro Tools. I will if I have to, but I do not want to leave Pro Tools. And I do want to give Avid the opportunity to change first after hearing my complaints. And I'm just very, very happy to get through to them because I'm not really anybody as far as like, you know, credentials and all that kind of stuff goes, but the hand of God is on my life. I thank God for giving me favor everywhere that I go because he really does. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys that little quick update. I will probably continue to give you guys updates in the future as I continue this conversation with Avid. All right, if you like the beat that is playing in the background, go to thesearethesounds.com. There are actually different leasing options that I have on my website because I do sell beats. I have a beat store and it's not just for artists, but it's also for content creators. So if you need background music for your stuff, I have licenses for you. If you made it this far into the video, I think it's safe to say that you kind of like this, so please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I am so close to breaking 1,000 subs, so please go ahead and click subscribe. And please also go ahead and click that notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a video. Again, I am Brie K of thesearethesounds.com. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.